All right, on this special edition of Real Reviews. Normally I rock Real Reviews solo, but I brought a couple of friends with me. Charles Kirkland Jr. from Keeping It Real with Film Gordon. Charles, what's going on, bro?
I'm back. Let's do this.
And also, I guess he contributes to idobiradio.com. He is a member of the Critics' Choice Association. My friend Julian Lytle.
What's good? The celebration of family is about to be talked about.
Big time. All right. So up first and last is the ninth installment in what we call the Fast Saga, the 10th movie in the Fast Saga, if you count the spinoff, Hobbs and Shaw. Fast and Furious present Hobbs and Shaw. But the one we're concentrating on today is called Fast 9 or F9, the Fast Saga. Fast and Furious 9, but we refer to it simply as F9, as you can see over my shoulder. It is an action film directed by Justin Lin, who wrote the screenplay with Daniel Casey. It is a sequel to 2017's The Fate of the Furious and the ninth installment and the 10th full-length film release overall in the Fast and Furious franchise. The first film since the Fast and Furious 6, which is in 2013 to be directed by Lin, and the first since Too Fast, Too Furious in 2003, not to be written by Chris Morgan. F9 stars, of course, Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, Ludacris, John Cena, Jordana Brewster, Natalia Emmanuel, Sung Kang, Michael Rooker, Helen Mirren, Kurt Russell, and Charlize Theron. My God, man, there's a lot of people in this film. So I'm gonna go first because Julian is gonna bring the heat. He's the cleanup man on this one. Charles is going second. So I'm a guy that shows up, and I actually showed up to this movie, and Julian was in the lobby, and I said, "Oh man, we out here to watch another one of these ridiculous films." And what I simply mean when I say that is that, as I have watched all these films multiple times, you think back to the original film back in 2001. It was about some guys it was predominantly about street racing with a little heist element to it, right? The second film, we now know that Brian, I forget what his last name is, Brian O'Connor, I think his name was, is now undercover as a cop, and they team him up with Tyrese in the second Fast and Furious, right? Too Fast, Too Furious, John Singleton directs. The third one, we go over to Tokyo. None of these characters from the first two films are in it. We introduce an entirely new crew of drivers. And then there's a cameo at the very end by the man over my shoulder, Vin Diesel, which kind of ties the stories together. And then on and on it goes. But the one thing that I can say about the film, and Julian, you can just nod if I'm correct, is that the stunt work has become a lot more exaggerated and elaborate, and in Tim Gordon's words, just plain ridiculous. Like, the logic never works in these movies. And you know how they say, don't try this at home? Don't try any of these stunts ever, because you will not be, as Tyrese Gibson talked about, man, are we immortal? Like, we don't even get a scratch on us. We invincible. Nothing happens to us. And they don't. And I thought that was a great piece of writing that tied in with the audience, like people like me, like, come on, dog, really? Seriously? So let's get back to this film, F9. The story starts, if you remember, The Fate of the Furious, as I said, 2017. Cypher, played by Charlize Theron, tries to get Dom to work for her in order to go against his crew. Of course, Dom snaps out of it, and his crew, and they all get back together. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, along with his help, I forget what his name, Officer Hobbs, they were able to buck back Charlize Theron. We all live happily ever after, because that's the way every Fast and Furious movie is, that we live happily ever after, until this movie, when everybody is chilling, doing their own thing, and suddenly there's a cryptic message from Mr. Nobody, played by Kurt Russell, which springs the crew back into action. So we start off with the core five. And I don't know, maybe by design, Julian, again, you can just nod, the crew keeps growing. People keep showing up. that had been in other films. It almost feels like a Marvel sort of film where we're bringing together all these people in order to fight a common enemy. And if that's not enough of a tease, there's also this object that they're all chasing, trying to get a hold of, that when put together and then activated and it lights up, looks like, dare I say, an infinity stone? Wow. So then, if that's not like the third part of this, which makes it like a sort of a Marvel-esque sort of a story, is somewhere in the story, we end up in space trying to take out a satellite. You mean a car? They can actually take these cars now and put them into space? Yeah, they can. You get all of this and then some, including an amazing backstory that shows us the film kicks off with a very young Dom 30 years ago and his brother Jacob, who witnessed their father racing on a track. And after he comes in for a pit stop, goes back out and within moments has an accident and loses his life on the track. And this traumatic experience sets up all the events that are to come in F9. So that's as much as I will say about it. But from there, what I will say, it was very interesting watching the crew be reassembled, like, again, the Avengers assemble. It's very interesting to watch all these different parallels. It almost felt to me when I was sitting there watching it, and I think I even whispered over at some point to Julian, who's on our show, I guess they didn't invite Vin Diesel to be a part of the universe. Well, he is actually the voice of Groot, but he liked what they did so much. Like, I'm gonna design one of our films just like one of those films.
He did it first.
Well, yeah. So you saying that Marvel stole Vin Diesel's idea?
He did it first.
Okay. So needless to say, despite the fact, as I wrote in my review, that logically it makes no sense, that the physics of it don't make any sense. Like, there's flying cars, there's cars in space, there are cars with big magnets that are just that's wreaking havoc in the streets of London. There's all sorts of stuff going on in this film. Don't try this at home. None of it makes any sense. But is it entertaining? Hells yeah. Is it the sort of movie that after 14, 16 months, you've been sitting in a pandemic and you need to get back to the theater? This, to me, I know everybody talked about The Heights a couple of weeks ago. No, this is the movie you need to go and watch in the theater. If they would have screened this movie and I'd have watched it at home, it would have been cool. It's way more fun to watch this movie. And as an added bonus, Julian and I sat in a theater that was a Dolby theater and watched it. So we felt all of the revving of the engines, all the action happening. Our seats are vibrating. It's a great experience in the theater. I highly recommend it. I gave F9 a B+. I thought it was, despite the fact that all the things I said that didn't work about it, what does work is this movie is a pure jolt of adrenaline, and it is fun as heck to watch. If you like popcorn and Twizzlers and soda like I used to and can't eat anymore, this is the perfect movie to have that experience. I loved F9. Can't wait to go back and check it out again. Recommend you go and check it out. What do you think, Charles Kirkland?
You referenced the scene in the movie where Tyrese talks about being immortal. I so wanted him to say, "Are we superheroes?" I wanted him to just say that.
Pretty much.
Let's go from there. Because
we are gods.
I think this movie is crazy fun. It's just ridiculously fun, and it's one of those things that don't sit there and try to make sense of it. Just experience it. And like you got, I didn't get to go to the screening because it happened on my anniversary. So shout out to my wife for 25 years. I think that's much more important than sitting in a movie theater. But I did get to see it. I did get to see it in a Dolby theater and experience it much the same way with you. This movie begs to be seen on the big screen. Don't even dare try to watch it at home. Go to the theaters, sit down, watch the Avengers, the Black Avengers. This is the
He stole
this is a
Julian's line, man.
multi-billion-dollar franchise that's led by Black people. We don't have that, and I'm upset with you, Tim Gordon, that you put all that stank on Charlize Theron's name and couldn't even say Natalie Emmanuel's name correctly.
I thought it was pronounced Natalie.
Natalie Emmanuel.
Natalie Emmanuel. Okay, my apologies, Natalie Emmanuel. I didn't do it intentionally. I just thought that was the way it was pronounced.
He's reading the list. I understood. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. I mean, Charles trying to make me look like I'm shading Natalie Emmanuel. I love her as an actress.
You know what I'm saying? She had the braids the whole movie. She had no good braids the whole movie. No hair out of place.
Yes.
No hair out of place. Fresh braids.
All right, Julian Lytle, you up, man? He done stole your phrase, the Black Avengers, man.
I remember when I came up with Black Avengers online. It was 10 years ago before Fast 5 came out. Being I was one of the few people who knew everything about these movies and Marvel comics and the Marvel movies. I was like, oh, they putting all the characters from the previous 4 movies. They the Black Avengers because clearly in a radical sense, opposite of whiteness, they Black, even if all the people ain't actually Black. You know what I'm saying? Politically, they reject and rebel against the state all the time. They some real G's. But being able to have people from the Fast and the Furious, 2 Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift, and from the previous Fast and Furious movie, number 4, I was like, oh, this is going to be excellent. And then they put The Rock in it. Oh, he was running through walls. The Rock was living out his name. It was great. What I like about this movie, as I call Black Avengers 5, because this is officially the 5th version of how the franchise shifted from a movie series about street races and running and gunning to being super soldiers and spies, where essentially they became G.I. Joe and Mask, aka Mobile Armor Suit Command. You know, for the real heads, you know, they was the G.I. Joe with the special vehicles, like right. Fast and Furious.
Right.
You know, they could make a car go into space. And in this movie, they got a Fiero go into space. Somehow they got rocket scientists that can turn a car to go into space. It's beautiful. 20 years in, I saw this movie on the 20th anniversary of the release date of The Fast and the Furious. 20 years. See, to me, nothing about this movie is fantastic or ridiculous. After 20 years, that's the way it's supposed to be. They're superheroes. If you know anything about superheroes, Spider-Man, they go out there and start fighting space creatures. He started out fighting robbers. Then it built up to fighting sand people and rhino men. Batman was fighting mad monks and rich white dudes and criminals. Superman couldn't fly. He couldn't shoot lasers. He was hanging slumlords out of building. He stopped mistreating people. We get Superman now. He could take an atomic bomb, reverse the earth, and all the other crazy stuff. So now we're at the point with Dominic Toretto and his family. They can stop evil countries and super soldiers. They can go to space. They can destroy submarines. They can fight black supermen. They can do anything. They're amazing. It's anime, it's manga, it's shonen. Even like in shonen, for those who don't know, that's a specific type of manga and anime. Your enemies become your friends at the end. You bring your friends, the good enemies coming together. Like, yes, John Cena's angry because he was kicked out the family, but they had to bring him back. And we finally got a good replacement for No More Brian. Because Scott Eastwood wasn't doing it. But John Cena, John Cena, he was that white boy they needed. He needed that Boston white boy, you know what I'm saying? That, super Marky Mark up in that joint, you know what I'm saying? Like John Cena, hair slicked back, driving imports just like Brian did, whipping.
So I have a question for you, Julian, in the middle of your piece. There's at least 2 more of these movies. There's an F10 and an F11, which I think they want to wrap the series up with. I mean, I watched them drive, and I forget which version of Fast and Furious. They were in Dubai when they were driving cars from one building to the next. Like he said, there's submarines, there's space. what's left that just
They ain't gone underwater yet. They ain't gone underwater yet. They fought a submarine, but they didn't actually go in the water. See, y'all really don't be thinking.
Hey man, look.
They ain't been to China yet neither. They ain't been to Australia. You know what I'm saying? They start using
I'm trying to figure out what can be done for an encore. Because like I said, I thought one of the most wildest stunts they did was them dragging a safe through the streets of Brazil, which I was like,
yeah, that's crazy, right?
Who thinks of this kind of stuff?
Now they dragging cars with the magnets.
With magnets. Now you're right.
Through buildings.
So let me ask you a question, Julian. What was the tone of the meeting when somebody pitched, man, what if we put magnets in the cars and then we put them in multiple cars? Because the way it's done in the movie, we never see them do it. But suddenly there are all these cars that are magnet equipped.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
they showed you the magnets on the wall in their bat cave. Because yes, people,
yes,
the Fast family gets an actual base in this movie. Because also they leave some threads. First of all, Cypher's the big bad. They already set up in the Fate of the Furious that every bad guy that they ever face post Too Fast, Too Furious has been connected to her and her need to destabilize all the world governments. She's Cobra Commander. You know what I'm saying? As much as they, like at this point, that's why they can't make no good G.I. Joe movie, because there's a Fast and the Furious. Like everything you want to do with G.I. Joe,
they already doing it with
doing it with Fast and Furious. Like before that was even popping, when in the little break period with the Transformers, and when Tyrese was the soldier with Josh Duhamel in the Transformers movie, they was G.I. Joe. So every time Hasbro and Paramount want to make a G.I. Joe movie, it's like, bruh, like they already took a car into space. Like I don't like Cypher. Charlie's she's a 6 foot tall, blonde, beautiful white woman that's a genius that can like escape capture and trying to take over satellites and planes that don't. Kurt Russell is basically being Super Snake from Escape from New York. He's a super spy that he can't die. He can evade everything. Because we don't even know what Kurt Russell at. He ain't back yet.
Well,
he got to come back.
He'll be back in 10, and I'm assuming that in 10 we also get The Rock coming back, because it looks like him and Vin Diesel have patched up their differences. So if you get Hobbs and Shaw back, you add in now John Cena, because Jacob is down with them.
He got to come back. He got to get
he got to be redeemed. We need a Thanos in this Fast Furious universe, man.
That's what Cypher is. She is Thanos.
Yeah, man, but she doesn't give off. She doesn't give off to me. And again, I love Charlize Theron, but I don't know, man. I mean.
See, you got caught. The way she got caught with Thanos.
The way she turned everything in this movie lets you know that she is a force to be reckoned with. Remember, she was captured, and she's like, "Nah, what? So what? So what?"
I'm bored. That's the only reason I'm here. I'm bored.
Wow.
Right, I want to see you lose Saddam, little Jacob. She sunned him the whole movie. It was beautiful. Thanos don't even make no sense. If you want to say characters don't make no sense, Thanos don't make no sense. But that's a longer, deeper 25 to 30 year discussion on why.
Okay. All right. So what did you give Black Avengers 5, aka F9?
I gave it 8.5 because we didn't get Tego. I still didn't get Return of Leon from 1. And the soundtrack, even though it had a spectacular use of Project Pat in the movie, spectacular use of Project Pat at the right time, get you lit, make you just want to just get in the car, just it's still like nothing has yet reached the height of Fast 5 like that. They need to do a Criterion collection of just Fast 5. Like they need to have college courses. That movie is literally perfect. Like I will fight.
Are you talking about the introduction of Officer Hobbs?
Everything about it, like Brazil.
Oh yeah, that was. But that to me is when the franchise became the modern franchise. When I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, they doing something different now.
And it has the best Fast and Furious soundtrack produced by the Neptunes. So like, there's a lot of things going for 5 that nothing yet can actually top it. But this is clearly better than 8, and I like 8. Yeah, this joint. as the time settles, right now it's 8.5. It might go up to a 9. It might go up to a 9.
So can you give us a translation in alphabets, man, since our audience doesn't do numbers?
Oh, so yeah, it's like a A minus. A minus.
Wow. All right. And Charles Kirkland Jr., what about you?
I'm like Julian. I gave it a straight A though. For me, this is not about making sense. It's not about. I mean, and if you're a Marvel Comics fan, if you're a DC Comics fan, and you love those movies, there's no reason in the world that you should be trying to go in the movie saying, "Well, this movie don't make sense," or "This movie don't make sense." It's not about making sense. It's about having a great time at the movies. Just going up there and just having a ball, and that's what this movie is. This movie is a ball from everything about it, like from the plot twist to. I mean, it's not even that it's that surprising. Everything is kind of transparent. You know where it's going before you even get there. But it's the ride. It's the ride in F9 that makes it worthwhile. And I gave it an A.
So wait a minute, you gave it an A. Julian gave it an A minus. What did I give it?
You said a B plus.
I said a B plus. So my grade is dragging down the collective. I think if you add B plus, A minus, and A, that's an A. Collectively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It even sets up a prequel series if they want to do it. They had the baby versions of all the original characters from the first movie. I think they could even do like a TV show or something with the guy who played young Dom, and
young Dom, young Jacob, and young what's the
young
Letty.
Everybody from the first movie, the original crew, there's a young version of them in this movie, and they look like them, and it sets place in like the mid-90s, and they play NWA music. It's perfect. Joint is fire. They even got my guy from Animal Kingdom in there playing young John Cena. Fire. I flip a table over right now. I pity the fool.
And Michael Rooker, another crossover from MCU universe.
To that real franchise. Gave up a Corona because that's what they drink in Fast and Furious.
Wow. All right. So needless to say, our panel, we love this movie. I would suggest you go out and check it out. It's in theaters right now. F9, or as Julian likes to call it, Black Avengers 5, aka F9. I call them the F-Vengers for the Fast Vengers. Charles, you didn't have anything. You just stole Julian's Black Avengers, huh?
I wanted to spread. Everybody need to call them what they are. They beat the Avengers, but they be losing to get hit with moons and stuff. Losing to Thanos. Dom wouldn't lose to Thanos. Half the world, half the population of the universe would get killed if Dom and the family was there. Things would have got solved. They wouldn't be no Star-Lord messing everything up. Nah, they would have got that glove off and they would have beat his behind. That's what they do in space.
This is how we do it. This is Brazil.
You know what I'm saying? Beast would have came in and been perfect.
We wrapping up real reviews because Julian can just go. Julian does 3-hour podcasts. We are not doing a 3-hour review of this movie, man. But until next time, thanks for watching Real Reviews. On behalf of Julian Lytle from Adobe Radio, Charles Kirkland from the DC Film Life and the filmgordon.com. I'm Tim Gordon. Until next time, we'll see you. We need to do more of these, man, because I think this really works as a collective.
Black Avengers 5, go see it.
All right, check it out. Peace.